So what's going on, guys? My name is Mr. Dalek JD, and today we're going to be doing a little bit of a different video to what I usually do. And this isn't going to be necessarily a negative video, but I thought it would be a good idea to talk about some concerns that I have and potentially resonate with what you guys might have as well, as I've seen it a fair bit over social media the last few weeks about WW2 Zombies, and more specifically about my concerns about the game mode itself. Because, you know, we're expecting it, I'm excited, I really am excited to dive into some brand new zombies, and it's looking like it's shaping up to be really good. But I do have a few concerns that I wanted to outline in this video and see really what you guys think and if you agree or disagree. Now, I'm not really the sort of person that makes these sort of videos. I'm not necessarily complaining about anything, I'm just more talking about my concerns about WW2 Zombies. So if you guys have any opinions or you agree or disagree, let me know with what I mentioned within this video. Give it a like rating if you want to support the video, and let's jump in. Now, jumping into the first thing is the fact that we've not seen any actual gameplay yet. Now, I know what you're thinking, and I agree, it's still a little bit too early for us to see that, but Zombies has definitely come a long way since its first iteration, and I feel it only gets more important every single year, as it is a defining factor on why people buy the game, and you guys obviously watching are all incredibly excited to see what that's going to be. But we've only had one trailer of Zombies. That's it. Like, I really hope that we get more stuff down the line in October as we get closer, but it sort of really drives away the excitement when you don't know what you're excited for, because you only have one trailer to base it on, and we've not seen any actual gameplay. Now, I know we didn't see any Black Ops 3 Zombies gameplay before it came out, which is not a surprise, and we got to see Spaceland gameplay before it came out, which was actually quite surprising, but it sort of sets a sort of standard that you're gonna start to get used to, and if you want to be invested in Zombies, then we're gonna need to see some more. And the general consensus from what I've seen in the comments is that people don't really have a lot to judge on from one single trailer, and they want to see more, which is something I definitely agree on. Let me know if you think that we should be seeing some more stuff from WW2 Zombies at this point, if you feel like, you know, we're spoiled if we get gameplay, we're not spoiled if we get it. Let me know your thoughts. Now, another thing which concerns me quite a bit is that they've mentioned that there's going to be a large amount of different zombie types and AI types. Now, I'm all for different variations of zombies, which is cool, but I don't want them to literally plague us with so many different types that it's really overwhelming. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm all for variety and challenge, and of course the whole themes of experimentation on people means there's going to be quite a lot of different variation in the enemy types, which sounds exciting and I'm looking forward to it, but I just hope that they find the balance where it's not too much that it's overwhelming. And in the sense of the average player coming into play this, they're really going to have a hard time if there's so many different types of zombie that are trying to kill us. And even for the hardcore, it's going to make it slightly off-putting that there's so many different things to have to think about and to tackle, and it's going to be a very, very interesting sort of contrast and thing to get used to. Like in Black Ops 3 Zombies, I think every single map has probably about 3 to 4 different enemy types at most, and that's about it. But this is going to have probably, by the sounds of it, a minimum of 5 to 6, and that's just the bare minimum, and that's already quite a lot. Like I said, they're just going to have to try and get the balance right, but I just feel having so many different enemies of zombies is going to make it too frustrating to want to play a lot, and that ties in with another concern I have, which is the replayability. Now, I think it's fair to say maps like Shadows of Evil upon launch didn't exactly have the greatest replayability, but as the DLC season went on, maps like Der Eisendrache and Gorod Krovi allow for a lot of replayability, which is always a lot of fun. But I just feel like this is going to be a sort of experience where you're going to go in, and for the first few times it's going to literally blow your mind and it's going to be amazing. But once you get over that fact, you're really going to start to, I don't know, maybe grow tired of it. It's very hard to say at this point, since we've not even seen gameplay, or I've played it myself with no idea what the replayability is going to be like, but we're all itching to get a zombies game that's going to get us hooked again, like we were with Black Ops 3 Zombies, at least from my experience. There might be quite a lot of you guys watching which are still addicted to Infinite Warfare Zombies, and the replayability is a big factor in there. If you think that, then that's completely fine. This is more of a subjective opinion, really, as it differs from person to person, but let me know. Replayability, what did you think was better in either Black Ops 3 or Infinite Warfare? Let me know inside the comment section. And also bearing in mind, Infinite Warfare just gave us one map, which was Spaceland, and on launch we had Shadows of Evil and The Giant, which was 2 maps, which instantly instantly boosted that replayability by a small percentage. But I guess it's very valid to have the concern for replayability before something like this comes out, because I want this to be something which we're going to be playing for months and months, if not years on end, like we have with previous zombie games. And like, we're still finding ways to make stuff new and fresh and fun for us, and I just hope that has the same sort of flavor to it. Another thing that I have a tiny concern about, which ties back a little bit to my first point about the actual gameplay thing, is that we've gotten details of what we're going to expect within the game, and this includes a massive overhaul to the actual gameplay experience, being that we have classes now. We have no idea how this class system works, apart from the very little that we got given information-wise from Game Informer, when they mentioned that there was one ability they had where they could cloak themselves from zombies, and the gist was the 4 classes that we have for this system is offense, control, support, and medic. Now this is huge because this completely changes the way that you're going to be playing zombies, as you're going to be given a specific role within the team and the mode that you're going to be playing, and that is huge. And we've not had any more explanation or even Sledgehammer openly explain how this is going to work and what the differences are between each class and what makes it better or worse. Sort of like the Divisions mode in multiplayer, they've not openly discussed this at all. Now this completely overhauls the way that we will play zombies, as we'll be locked into a class where we have to perform to that role, and that's going to reward us in some way, shape or form. We literally have no details on that whatsoever, and I feel it's so important that we know more about this at some point, that it's weird that we're getting basically nothing at all spoken about it. Perhaps we just need to be patient, and they might do a whole week dedicated to zombies. I really hope that's the case. Now the next thing I have on my list is the mention, or the lack of mention, of consumables, and what I mean by that is essentially the gobblegum / card system. Now they did briefly mention saying that they're not going to have a gobblegum system, but they're going to have something of their own accord, something that they're going to have themselves, their own version of it, which is fine. But I feel like it's getting to the point now where we sort of expect it, and it'd be nice to know exactly how it works, like what it's going to be, how it works within the game. Is it a one-time use thing? Is it something which could be similar to IW, where you can use it up to 3 times in one game and that considers it as one use? We really don't know. They mentioned stuff about how you'll be able to unlock some more permanent stuff, which to me sounds a little bit like the gobblegums that you could unlock that are the classics, but you had to be a specific level in the XP system in order to get them. But besides that, they've not mentioned them at all. I feel like IW really done things quite well. They balanced it out so there wasn't anything too ridiculously overpowered, and as biased as it is, I really enjoy Perkaholic and Shopping Free and all those sort of crazy things. They did do a good job of not making any too ridiculously overpowered ones right until the end of DLC 4, and they've not mentioned exactly how these are going to work with inside of zombies, how they're going to be activated. We really have no idea. I just hope whatever way they do go down the route, it doesn't necessarily break the game, but we're kind of used to the game being broken with gobblegums anyway. Now I have 2 more concerns left on this list before the video ends, this being the longevity of its scare factor. Now this is something which Sledgehammer Games have been pushing since they initially revealed it, is that this is going to be a horrifying zombies experience, and one which is going to be truly unnerving. Like, you're going to be scared, and playtesters that still play this still get scared now, and they're saying it in a way where they're not going to have the same jump scares appear in the exact same locations, but it's going to make you feel uneasy, and there's going to be stuff that's going to jump out at you, and it's generally going to be quite horrifying. Now this sounds really cool, and I love that they're going down this route with zombies, as zombies hasn't really been scary in the longest of times, but it's just how long is that scare factor going to be in there, and how effective is it going to be, say like 1 to 2 months down the line, where everyone's played the heck out of the map that's going to be on disc, and they're no longer finding this stuff scary anymore. And is the scare factor going to be a theme we'll see throughout the entire of the DLC season, or is this just sort of like a gimmick thing to get people interested and invested from the offset with this first map and its horror / scare factor? Like, I trust them that they're going to definitely deliver on the scare factor and horror, since they did create Dead Space, but it's just the fact that I just don't want it to be so over the top or so overdone that by the time that you've played it for like maybe a few days or so, the scare factor's completely gone, because you've just gotten so used to what happens that you're just not surprised anymore. I think especially since they're the first studio to be doing this with zombies, it's going to be pretty darn hard to get that locked in, and it's going to be the sort of standard that other developers, if they choose to go down the road with a horror scare in zombies, they're going to have that to basically work upon, which is going to be interesting. And I don't think it's going to be a while before we see more horror zombies from other developers, but it's going to be interesting nonetheless. And the final thing, and this is of course something which people are going to be very excited and of course passionate about hearing, then there is a portion of people that really don't care about this stuff, and that is the Easter egg depth. Now, of course, we're going to be getting Easter eggs of inside World War II Zombies. They've clearly stated it, and they've also said this is going to be the hardest Easter egg to solve yet, which is amazing. That sounds like such a great challenge, and we're really excited for that. But what I'm talking about specifically is how in-depth are these Easter eggs going to be, and how many are there? I really think that Treyarch hit the nail on the head with Shadows of Evil with Easter egg depth, because before release, Jason Blundell was mentioning how he reckons that even on your 40th playthrough of Shadows, you're going to find brand new things. And he wasn't lying there. There was truly a lot of depth and a lot of minor Easter eggs which were really subtle, but in the grand scheme of things there was a ton of them, and I was really happy, and I'm sure a lot of you guys were as well, to see stuff like the Lil Arnie Easter egg, which is like a whole month after the game came out, which is pretty darn crazy. And anything we can look upon to sort of give us that sort of factor of Easter egg is looking back at Exo Zombies, which was actually co-developed by Raven Software, so it wasn't technically all of Sledgehammer Games' baby, and in there we did have Easter egg quest lines, but aside from that, there wasn't really anything else. So they've had a lot of time to go and look through what we've got used to now with Easter eggs, and to really hone on some of these really, really small minor ones, and then the massive big ones as well, and overall just packing a lot of Easter eggs in. What it feels like with Treyarch Zombies is even once an Easter egg has been completed, it does feel like a main essence of the map and the point of playing it is gone, but there's still a lot of longevity with the maps, and that's something which I felt was lacking a lot with Infinite Warfare Zombies. Maybe you guys disagree, which is completely fine. But I really want there to be a lot of Easter egg depth where we're going to be finding stuff like weeks and weeks into the game coming out, but then once we have discovered most of this stuff, there's still going to be a lot of fun times to be had on the maps, and we're going to keep replaying them, and we don't have to go back to the older games to find our sort of fun and replayability, if you get what I'm saying. Obviously, pretty much every concern I've mentioned in this video is something which we don't know of as of yet, and hopefully in the next coming weeks before the game comes out, we start to see a lot more hype around zombies, because it looks really intriguing, very original as well, and I'm excited to learn and hear more. I'm sure you guys can tell, we're just all desperate to hear some new zombies information. But that was just a look at my concerns. If you guys have any additional ones which you're worried about and maybe is turning you off from buying the game, let me know in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, drop it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe for more World War II and more Call of Duty Zombie videos, hopefully each and every day here on the channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. You guys in the next one. You guys